Scene one, take two.
Okay.
Wait, I'm gonna get rid of my coffee cup.
Well, we
Okay.
have here on this 15th day of July, 2013, Yvonne Chidester Devine and her older brother, Craig Chidester, who are going to tell us about their earliest memories of life together in the Imperial Valley.
Oh boy.
What's your earliest memory of Yvonne?
Going to church. You know, we used to have to go to Acumba, to the Mormon church up there. We lived in Plaster City.
Yeah.
How old were you and how old was she?
Oh, I was probably 5 or 6.
So she'd have been a year or two.
Gosh, I remember that too, but I didn't realize I was that young. Because I think we used to go up there later on too, maybe. Speaking of church, I remember there was a little, I'll say holy roller kind of church when we lived in either Plaster City or Sealy
Right.
that we walked to. We walked down a dirt road. And we also, I remember we used to walk there and get popsicles.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You would handle the money, and I was just kind of like tag along. I was always trying to tag along, and you were always saying, "Go home, Vaughn, go home."
Well, that's what big brothers are supposed to do.
You're always trying to get rid of me,
It's
and I knew it, but
8:30.
I clung for dear life, you know. Would you say, Sharon?
Oh, in the background is Sharon Chidester, who will be heckling and egging
Assisting.
Yes.
our stars onto greater memory recall.
Yeah. So, yeah, that Plaster City, that was a place and a half. My goodness. Just all Quonset huts. No, that's not true. That was somewhere else.
We had a house there. We actually did have a
Yeah.
house.
But we had common showers, community showers.
Oh,
In Plaster City.
is that where the outhouse was?
Yes, we had an outhouse.
Yeah.
Because I remember when Mom died, and you and I, this was your idea, went on a little trek down to those places. We ruined the Cadillac in the sandstorm. Remember we had stopped to buy date stuff at Valjean's
Oh, yeah, in Coachella.
and yeah, we had wrappers all over the Cadillac, and you were saying, well, you take the boy out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the boy, because we were kind of enjoying the mess that we'd made in the car. It wasn't really a dirty mess. It was just
Debris.
debris. Yeah, we're going, look at this.
Junk.
Brand new Cadillac.
It's all right.
And you ruined it as in the finish
No,
on
no.
the
The
sandstorm?
sandstorm did that.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, I remember the little one-room house when we lived out in the country, and I must have been about 2.
Oh, yeah.
There was Mom and Dad had a garden out back. I think Dad was a sheep herder at that time for his cousin Alan.
Yeah, the Arthurs.
Alan Arthur, yeah.
Because Alan didn't have, he wasn't so much, it was his dad, Ross Arthur, who got a start. And I know that his wife, Krista, she was kind of a fancy pants lady,
Mm-hmm.
you know, very proper. And Mother could never compete with her.
Well, we lived in a Quonset hut.
I know, but I mean, I know that it drove Mom nuts.
Yeah, she didn't
To
like
be
her.
around her, because it just represented everything that she would have liked to have had and didn't have.
Yeah.
And it's not so much that she wanted the stuff, it's just that she didn't want to be seen as second class.
Right.
And of course, that's exactly the way they saw us. You know.
And they had adopted a boy, our cousin Evan. But
Was he adopted?
he was adopted, and he was difficult, so they sent him back. But I remember when we'd go out to the country to Dad's cousin Alan Arthur, he'd be there playing with us. And we'd go out and play along the river, and that was really dangerous, playing along that river. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
There was
What
a
river?
huge cliff. Must have been the New River, which is one of the most polluted rivers in the United States.
That's right.
It is the most. It was named as the most polluted.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I can remember being on that cliff, and there were no paths or anything. We just decided we were going to go out along that cliff that was at an angle, and you just holding on for dear life, trying not to slide off the edge. Do you remember that?
Not really.
Oh my gosh, I do. I have such a memory of that. I must have been, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
Way too young. I don't know where Mom was. I guess she thought you were looking out for me.
I was.
You were hoping I'd fall off the cliff.
Well, maybe not. Maybe not.
But I fixed you. I held on for dear life and didn't go off that cliff.
Was that the time when Dad was telling the story about how we came home wet?
No. That was, I was so thrilled because you wanted to take me and show me this fun swimming place. We lived in Brawley,
Yeah.
and I was maybe 11, which made you about 15, I guess.
14, yeah. something.
14, 15, yeah. And you were still living at home. And you said, yeah, I got this great swimming place. I'm so thrilled. My brother's gonna take me swimming. So we went out. There were these little irrigation ditches, and there was water running really swiftly down. The water was only a couple inches deep. Took the dog with us. And it was so much fun because the force of that water running down those little irrigation ditches, which was, it was a cement, all
Yeah.
cemented, was so much fun. But of course, then we got out, and we were both just muddy as all get out. And we went and went, uh-oh. So we're making up our lies to tell Dad. Yes, we went, you said, I'll do the talking. I go, okay.
We were adjusting the situation to fit circumstances.
We got home, and Dad was in a good mood. He was standing out in the backyard talking to some guy. This one we lived in Brawley next to Garibaldi. Truck driver or something, I don't know. Maybe it was Mr. Garibaldi. Who?
Bill Cobb was the manager.
Yeah, might have been Bill Cobb. And so you're telling him the story. He says, well, Chico, the dog, fell in, and I jumped in to get her, and Yvonne fell in too, or something like that. It was some ridiculous story. So Dad's like, So he turns to Bill Cobb or whoever it was and says, well, how do you like that? He says, first my daughter falls in. That's what it was. And my son jumps in to save her. And the damn dog jumped in, or fell in too.
Yeah. That's right.
We were so relieved because you weren't going to get your butt kicked, and neither was I.
One in a row. Jeez. Yeah, that's the other thing. I was always in trouble because of you. Of course, it wasn't because of you, it was because of me.
Yes, I was going to say I have a different recollection of that.
Probably a little more accurate, but gosh.
Well, the weird thing is that I don't remember you ever being in trouble. I remember I was always trying to be good because you were such a hellion. That was my memory.
Yeah. Well, you know, Mother, her idea of respite was that on Saturday I could go anywhere I wanted all day long, as long as I was home in time for dinner. So I could get on my bicycle and just go. Well, of course, we lived in such small towns that going anywhere didn't mean you were anywhere. We lived in places like Westmoreland and Sealy and
Plaster City.
Plaster City, yeah. Brawley, I was too old for that. I mean, I wasn't old, but, you know, I'd gone beyond that stage, I think.
Well,
So,
Brawley, you had the Flowers brothers. Billy and
Bob and
Bob.
Jane. You know, and Jane was a real hefty gal.
I don't remember her at all.
Yeah,
But I remember you'd take off with the two brothers and they had a Jeep, didn't they?
yeah. Well, their dad did.
Yeah. And you'd go in that Jeep.
Yeah, Bill and I went on that month-long trip. How we ever talked our parents into that, I'll have no idea. But we left in like July from Imperial Valley and drove up to Fresno, and we worked for a few days there because Billy had some uncles and aunts and what have you, and they were loading chickens, and so we got to, do that, and we made pretty good money. But God, it was hard work. And if you've never loaded chickens, boy, I'll tell you, it tears your hands up unless you're toughened up for it.
You mean loading chickens,
Live chickens.
actually handling the live chickens, not
Yeah.
just the crates?
Yeah, handling the live chickens, putting them in crates, and then
Mm.
stacking the crates on
Wow.
the truck.
Wow, I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
I
It was
remember
hard
when
work.
you were picking cotton.
Oh yeah, that was another joyous job. 3 cents a pound.
And the bags were like 50-pound bags, right?
Yeah. And we'd get up like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, you're out in the field, you could hardly even see. But boy, by 10:30, 11 o'clock, I was whipped, I was done.
Mm-hmm.
It was so damn hot. And here's these Mexican families, and they just kept trudging right on through.
How many bags could you pick in that length of time?
One,
$1.50.
about right. Wasn't hardly worth it.
Well, your big money was cleaning out the cattle trucks.
Yeah.
You used to make pretty good bucks at that.
Yeah, I did. That was a really lousy job that nobody wanted to do, but, and of course it added immensely to my popularity in high school. Mucking out cow trucks,
Could never get the smell off? Or?
right. You got most of it.
People don't realize, but I remember those trucks would be like a foot to a couple of feet deep in liquid cow crap.
No, they
Cow
weren't that
manure.
bad.
No?
No,
Not that bad?
it'd be that deep, maybe at the max.
Okay.
But the problem was, these drivers would put a lot of sand in there.
Mm.
So it was half sand and half liquid and, junk. And it was an ordeal
Mm.
because you had to muck it out by hand, with a scoop shovel. But I was a healthy, strong kid, and I got $2 a truck. And sometimes it'd take me 35, 40 minutes. Sometimes I could do 3 in an hour.
That's good money though for that
Oh,
period of
yeah.
time, yeah.
Well, and the extra bonus was, I was like 12 or 13 years old, and I got to drive these trucks.
Oh,
I wasn't supposed to, and Bill Cobb just about had a hemorrhage every time he saw me driving, and he told Daddy, he says, "You can't do that."
you were just driving around the yard, right? You were not.
Yeah, and out to where
Yeah,
you muck the truck,
yeah.
No, I was not on the highway or anything. And these are cab over, truck and trailer, 18-wheelers.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, boy, I would have emptied those trucks out for nothing just to drive. Yeah,
Hmm.
but that was a good job.
Just for the record, chronologically, where were you living when you were born, Craig?
El Centro.
And then you moved to where?
We went from there. Well, I can tell you where we lived. I'm not sure of the chronology, but we lived in El Centro, and then we lived in El Monte, which is a suburb of Los Angeles.
And
I was
Yvonne-
about 2 years old
During
when we
World
lived
War
there.
II.
Oh, okay.
I remember at the end of the war, cars dragging metal objects that sparked up the road
Uh-huh.
and the streetcar tracks. So these cars are just having a hell of a good time, dragging stuff and sparking up everything. And then we lived in Plaster City, which is a company town owned by U.S. Gypsum, west of El Centro, about 25 miles out in the middle of the desert. And Dad was a diesel mechanic for the locomotive that towed the cars, or these hoppers, that they'd loaded the gypsum up with,
Mm-hmm.
some 20 miles away from the processing plant. And every once in a while I'd get to ride on the train a little ways, not very far.
Mm-hmm.
But
I want to say a little something about Plaster City, a memory that I have. you, Craig, that you might not remember, or maybe you will. But anyway, I remember you and your friends, your boyfriends, male friends, boys your age, would dig these tunnels out in the backyard
Yeah.
because we didn't have a grassy yard or anything like that. It was just dirt.
Right.
And you guys would dig these tunnels, and you'd get these pieces of plywood or something, put it over the top,
Right.
and then put dirt on top of that.
Right.
So then you'd have this whole network of tunnels.
Right.
You also built a little clubhouse out in the back.
I don't remember that.
Oh, I do. And said no girls allowed. Of course, I wanted to come in desperately. I always just wanted to be where you were. I was always following you around. You were always saying, "Go home." And I wasn't allowed to go in the tunnels because that was for boys only. So I would just sit in the dirt and play with my little plastic pig or whatever I had. And
These are real underground tunnels with a top?
Oh, I dug ditches.
Uh-huh.
And
yeah,
then they were ditches, and then I just put,
Oh, you covered that way.
Covered
so
them
they
up.
weren't gonna cave in on you.
yeah.
yeah, and then, you know, I'll bet I didn't have more than from here to that door and maybe to the right, 10
Uh-huh.
feet or something. You know, it wasn't a big labyrinth, or
Uh-huh.
labyrinth.
But I remember you guys also used to take mud. This was so cool. And you'd make these roads, like these little roads for your trucks and cars.
Mm,
And that, to me, was just so much fun to drive those trucks and cars, or to be allowed
yeah.
to maybe play on the periphery of that, and drive those little
Jeez.
trucks and cars on these little mud roads.
See, I have no idea. that
It's
you felt so deprived.
8:45.
Oh, I just adored you. I was always trying to be with you, and you were always trying to get rid of me. You were the big brother. You were everything.
Oh,
You know,
boy.
I had my little friends too, but
Yeah,
you were like, 4 years older, and so
I just knew so much.
yes,
Ooh.
Big bro.
Yeah.
exactly.
So then from Plaster City, you went to,
And I guess we went to Sealy from there, or Westmoreland.
Plaster City, and then Sealy, because that's where I started first grade.
Okay.
oh,
And-
your first grade story about following, going home?
Well, Mom hadn't done much prep, let's say.
Let's say. Let us say that.
So here I found myself in this room with my teacher, Miss Mascot, and in a room with other children, and this way old woman sitting in the front of the room, who was a really nice lady, by the way, Miss Mascot. I didn't know what the heck I was doing there. And Mom and all the other moms were in the back of the room, and there was no kindergarten, so I just started first grade. And I turned around, and my mother was gone. Where'd my mother go? She had not told me I was supposed to stay. So I just walked home, which was probably, about 2 blocks across the dirt fields.
Yeah.
And I remember she was in the kitchen, and I came home. Oh, there's my mother. She turned around, she looked at me, and she says, "What are you doing here?" And I remember thinking, well, I live here. She says, "You were supposed to stay there." I didn't know that. She never told me that.
Yep.
So I just came home.
Oh, jeez.
God.
Yeah.
So first and second grade in Sealy, and then we moved to Westmoreland, because I did third and fourth, and you must have done 7th and 8th.
7th and 8th, that's right,
Yeah.
because I graduated from grade school there. Is that where we lived in that Quonset hut?
Westmoreland's where
Yeah.
we lived in the Quonset hut, yeah.
Half a Quonset hut.
And the Elmores had the other half.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, they
Okay.
lived right behind us.
Yeah.
Dorothy and
Jay.
Glenda,
Jay.
Jay, yeah. And the 2 little girls, there were 5 kids.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
This is early 50s then, we're talking
yeah.
Late 40s, early 50s, yeah.
third, fourth grade. You started skipping grades, did you, Craig? How you?
Well, I skipped the 3rd grade,
Oh,
and my mother started me early,
uh-huh.
and what a mistake. Bless her heart, she was doing what she thought was right, and in fact, there weren't too many options. Today, you'd never do that to a kid because socially, it really messes you up.
Yeah,
You know, school is rough enough as it is, and then to be, 2 years younger
yeah,
than all of your peers.
and probably smarter.
Yeah, yeah,
That's double whammy.
yeah. And just, it was not I didn't like it.
Mm.
I don't, remember a lot of my childhood being that much fun, really, because of the school situation. But I think everybody goes through high school with a sense of dread.
God, it was horrible.
You know, the ones that are out feel the pain. The ones that are in are worried shitless that they're going to be
Out.
out. So nobody's happy,
Yeah,
you know.
it's tough.
Yeah.
And then I followed along in high school, Raleigh,
So when did you go to
right
Raleigh?
after you,
Right.
and you had been the brilliant one in math, and I
Right.
was good in English, you know, literature and all that kind of stuff. And I remember Mr. Johnson, who was the algebra teacher, saying,
Gordon Johnson.
saying, Chidester, is your brother Craig Chidester? I'm going, yeah. I'm thinking to myself, uh-oh, uh-oh. Because I knew I wasn't good in math. And he quickly found out I wasn't good in math, too. It was really terrible. And poor Dad, when he found out how badly I was doing, we're going back to school and because I had to bring home a progress report or something from Gordon Johnson, saying I was doing badly. We're gonna go get your book. Where are your books? I said, oh, they're in my locker. Well, this was a time when the high schools didn't have to lock up the hallways and stuff. We went back to the school at dusk. It was almost dark. Got my algebra book out of the locker, brought it home. We sat down at the table, and poor Dad, he couldn't do it either. I just remember him saying, well, you just sit there and work on that.
Big bluff.
Yeah.
And Craig, you were gone. You couldn't help her at this point. You were off.
Yeah, he was gone by
Yeah.
then, because this was high school, and when I,
Yeah, I was gone before you went to high school.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was a junior, I was a freshman the year that he was gone.
Uh-huh.
He'd graduated. The screen just went dark. Does that mean anything?
It's okay. Oh. Doesn't
But
hurt anything,
anyway.
but it's.
Yeah.
So high school, and then you went off to.
Well, now we got a blue
BY.
screen.
Pardon?
We got a blue screen now.
Well, that's interesting. Oh, it's the screensaver, yeah. But we're still recording.
Yep.
I can edit this out. Now I gotta.
Well, that's okay. You don't need to
I'll
mess
do-
with it if you can.
I'll get it back.
Now Sharon's gonna have worms.
Sharon's sitting here with a
Oh. I've got it. Got it under control. Okay.
All right.
High school, and you went off to BYU.
Yeah, boy, was that a mistake.
Yeah.
Oh, lordy, lordy. It was a mistake on every front. The problem was, since our family was not college educated, I mean, I don't know quite how to put it, but no experience
Mm-hmm.
on what the options were, how to select it, and they're all just really crappy little excuses because there were a lot of families like ours, and they did fine. For some reason, we just couldn't get the damn thing put together.
But you were a lot younger than most, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I understand all that, but nevertheless, you know, you can only ride that horse so long. And it ended up, the only reason I don't know about the only, but the reason I went to BYU is a couple of girls at the Los Amigos motel, where we had they had the swimming pool.
Mm-hmm.
We used to gather there and
Mhm.
swim and just have a hell of a good
It was
time.
right near our house. We were kind of on the edge of town.
Yeah, it was just less than a block. And so I was talking to them, and they said, "Oh, you ought to go to BYU." Well, it's the first time anybody ever suggested anything of the sort, that I ought to go here or there or wherever. And so without any insight or checking or anything, I signed up and went. How stupid. And it was really rough because, you know, I was too young to be that far away from home for that long,
How old were you then?
16.
Mm-hmm.
And, but again, it's a crappy little excuse, you know, that people have done it fine. And,
But you didn't have any money either. I remember.
No, that's right.
Mom and Dad were just really scraping as hard as they could
Yep.
to get. I think you were sent $50 a month. Seem to remember $50.
I don't remember, but see, I had worked shoveling all that crap for those trucks, and that was part of my college fund. And, you know, it just, it worked out that I didn't put myself through school, but I sure put a lot of myself through. And then once Sharon and I got married, then hell, it was, you know, a cakewalk for me because she worked and financially we were okay.
Well, how long were you at BYU?
Well, let's see, I take that in 3 stages. First year I was a good boy, overwhelmed by it all. Got really involved in the theology and looking at reading the Bible and the Book of Mormon and
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff. What a waste of time. And got reasonable grades. Not great, but reasonable. And the second year is when Hausler and I got together, among others. And we just had a really good time. And it was a lot of fun. But it was
Well,
all
he was a classmate, Hauser.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but it was all forbidden.
Wasn't he your roommate? Something like that?
Yeah, for a while. That was the third year, basically.
Forbidden what you were doing? Like,
Yeah, well, you know, we were drinking beer and
Uh-huh.
Smoking.
smoking and drinking coffee, and you know, boy, you just don't do that at BYU.
Coffee even.
Coffee,
No coffee.
even, no
at BYU.
coffee, no tea.
Wow.
Yeah, hot beverages. That's what the Word of Wisdom says.
No hot beverages.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Oh.
But then the Mormons have interpreted that to mean coffee and tea.
Oh.
Okay,
He
whatever.
might have been talking about cocoa.
He might have been. Yeah, I mean, well, that's a whole different story I don't care to go into.
Well, any wild shenanigans at BYU worthy of recording?
Well, typical, you know, boys being boys and running around
Weren't
raising
you
hell.
guys piling up the beer bottles in the front window, like just asking for?
Well, we were stupid about everything. Yeah, we had this little Mormon family living downstairs. That was my third year, so I got to backtrack a little. First year I was okay. Second year, I had so much fun that my grades suffered, and I was just asking for trouble socially from the school, and I got it. They threw me out, both for academic reasons and social reasons. And I deserved to be thrown out. Wasn't their fault, it was mine. And they did what they were supposed to do. And so I thought, well, I'm gonna get, you know, I don't need these bastards. Well, I come to find out I did need them, because when you apply to another school, they don't dig into any details. All they know is you were thrown out. End of story. Don't care why. You're a rule breaker. We don't need troublemakers. Can't go to school here. So I called the Dean of Engineering at BYU, Dr. Armin J. Hill. And I was down in Southern California, and I had this gas hog, got maybe 8 miles to the gallon. Big old Lincoln with dual exhaust, and it
What
sound-
year?
Oh, probably a 49, 48, something like that. Big old boat. And it didn't, I mean, it floated and wallowed. And anyway, I called him up, and he said to give him a couple of days to look into my records and what have you. And he says, sure, you come on up. And he says, I'll talk to you. So I'm not making any commitments or anything, but come on up. Which I thought was damn decent of him to do that for me.
Come on up to Salt Lake City.
Provo, yes.
Yeah, Provo.
Mm-hmm. Which is an 800-mile trip
Yeah.
each way.
100 gallons right there.
Oh, yeah, each way. Oh, well, or whatever it is.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I was making $1.75 an hour, so, you know, it was pretty important to me. So I went to see him, and he said, okay, here's the program. He said, if you want to do this, he said, you're going to have to take these classes by correspondence, and I don't know if it was 1 or 2, and you got to get a B or better. And then if you do that, then you're going to be, your housing's going to be arranged that you're going to live with Dr. Wayne B. Hales, who is the head of the physics department, who also happens to be a Mormon bishop.
Ooh.
And you're going to live in his house. Put the clamp on me. So I agreed. What else are you going to do?
Yeah.
Sucked it up, did all that. It was a rough second year. And but I did manage to have some fun. I snuck up to Salt Lake City a few times. You know, you
Were you 17 then?
no, I was 18
18?
or 19 even.
Wow.
Can't even remember. And so let's see, that was my 3rd year.
Well, so there was a gap in the middle of your second year after you got thrown out before you went back.
Yeah,
You were working in Southern California,
right.
doing.
I was driving a truck for Deseret Industries, which is like the Salvation Army. You know, I had these mentally handicapped guys that were my travel mate. They sat on the passenger side, and we'd go get refrigerators and stoves and stuff like that. You know, I was a pretty husky kid, you know, and they were too. They weren't kids necessarily, but so I did that job. And the hell of it was that I got, I think it was $1.75 an hour, but I had to take 1/3 of it in commodities,
Oh,
which meant clothes, cheese, eggs, that sort of thing.
Canned foods?
Canned foods, yeah. And well, I'll tell you, it was rough. You know, I didn't live at home because once I left home, I never went back.
so where'd you live? Like a rooming house, or?
Yeah. One time I just lived in a house. It was like a 1-bedroom, kind of a snarky place. No air conditioning, just hotter than hell. In Maywood, which is a dismal part of LA. And sub blue collar. But I got through all that, and yeah,
Remember you worked for the Pep Boys at one point too. Was that around that time?
yes, it was. Yeah, how'd that work? I don't remember what the circumstance was, but I made $1.67.5 an hour plus commission. And commission was on house products, which was the Varsity brand in Cornell for tires. And I could make, if I sold a set of tires, 4 tires, I could probably make $7 or $8 commission. So I really hustled the tires. I mean, big time. I went after, you know, a lady would come in and I'd carry her stuff out to the car for her. And then I'd look at her tires and just reel backwards. Oh my God.
You're driving on these?
Yeah.
Oh God.
It was just showtime every time.
Were
I
they
sold
really
that.
bad, or were you?
Well, who knows? Every tire was a victim.
$7 or $8 to be had.
That's right.
What do you think?
Yeah. Hell, I even gave credit to an 18-year-old couple. I mean, with the manager's approval. And sold them tires. But I did pretty well. I came in Southern California. I was the 7th highest ranked salesman for Pep Boys in less than a year. And that's when I found out I was a salesman.
Right.
You know. And so that worked out pretty well.
I want to go back a little bit to talking about mom and dad and college and that kind of thing. Because my hit on it is that, since Dad had quit school after 7th grade because of the depression and all, and he had to go to work helping his father and his family because his mother had died, being the oldest of 13 kids. And Mom had a high school education, graduated from Wendell. By the way, I went to Wendell, and one of the photos is in that travelogue I mailed you, is me sitting by Grandma's grave, Grandma and Grandpa in
Yeah.
Wendell, in the little cemetery in Wendell.
Right.
But
Wendell, Idaho,
Wendell,
for the
Idaho.
record.
Yeah.
They didn't know about college. They didn't know how to help their kids.
Right.
And after you left, and I graduated from high school,
You did the smart thing.
well, but it was all just by pure serendipitous chance, because I didn't know what to do. So I went to IVC, Imperial Valley College, for a year.
And that made the most sense of anything.
And I got a job. I was the assistant to one of the professors of anthropology, a young guy. But I always, because you had arranged for me to come up for my high school graduation present to the Bay Area, and I stayed with Joanne and Don Hausler for 2 weeks. And Don was home at that time, took me up to Cal, took me on a little tour of the UC Berkeley campus, and I just I was absolutely in paradise. Never dreamed of anything like that before. So it just set up that dream for me that I really wanted to go to college. I wanted to go there, to that college. No clue about how I was going to make it or do it, but I did, once I was married and managed to go. But just as I look back on it, it's because Mom and Dad weren't educated. They didn't know. They just knew they wanted their kids to go to college. And I remember them talking about you were going to be an engineer. I don't know if you remember that. But that's all they knew how to do. That was just them
Yeah.
doing their best by us.
Well,
But I got no help from them at all. They didn't know what to do to help me.
yeah. Well, the thing that they did, see, Mother graduated from high school because there was only money enough for one, or so goes the story. It was either her or her sister Lucille,
Mm-hmm.
and but Don, her brother, her younger brother, he went to college.
Right.
So I don't know what that's all
Well,
about.
there was an aunt that had some money,
Oh,
and that aunt said she was going to give it to Aunt Lucille because she just thought Aunt Lucille was the more college-bound type. Mother always resented that,
of course she would.
and
That's-
I don't know why. I mean, that just seems pretty awful to me. Why couldn't they have split it between the two girls at least?
Yeah.
Gotten them through the first couple of years and then let the girls do whatever, but Mom was just kind of left on her own.
Yeah. And I think that hurt. That void in her life was the motivator for her to make sure that we got to school.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't know how to do it or what it was all about, but come hell or high water, we were going to go to college.
Oh,
Well, she
really?
planted the seeds,
Yeah.
for
Oh,
you
yeah.
anyway. For me, what she told me was that she'd checked into secretarial schools for me. And I thought, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be a secretary. But what did I end up doing when I came to the Bay Area?
Well,
I was a secretary.
sure.
But I didn't go to school to do it.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that always amazed me is you picked Berkeley and you got in. That wasn't easy.
No, but it was because I had done junior college. I went to Merritt College.
Oh, okay. In addition to IVC.
I did IVC when I was living at home with Mom and Dad. And then when I came up to Oakland, part-time, I was going to Merritt College, and I got my AA that way. And then they always want, they always give preference to those that have already done that 2 years. And
Yeah.
I think the fact that I was working, I wasn't getting any help from home,
Yeah, a whole lot of issues.
Who knows why they accepted me, but I just remember
Yeah,
I thought I'll never get in. I'll never make it, but I got to try.
right.
And the day I got that letter that I was accepted, I was so thrilled. God,
Yeah,
couldn't believe I'd made it. And at that time, it was like $400 for a quarter.
yeah.
I mean, now how many thousands is it? I don't know, but struggled
What,
through
what
somehow.
year was that, Yvonne?
Well, I
66?
graduated in '69, and Emmett and I were married in '67, so it must have been '68. Started in '68, went a year. '69 did another year, and graduated in '69.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what motivated you to bring her up to the Bay Area?
Well, I wanted to get her the hell out of Imperial Valley, show her
Yeah.
there was more to life than being a clodbuster's wife.
Which is what I would have been.
That's right.
It's all I knew. It's what all the other girls were doing.
That was probably one of the most generous things you ever did in your life in terms of what it meant for her.
Yeah, for Yvonne. That's,
Mhm.
Yeah, because I just, boy, it's not that I hated Imperial Valley. Hell, it was a good place to grow up, I guess, given the circumstances we all go through,
Mhm.
all of us. A lot of freedom, not too much worry about, kids being molested or abused or, whatever.
Drugs and
And,
gangs.
Well, we had the Mexicans and the blacks and the Filipinos, and there were some ethnic groups,
Mhm.
but nothing as vicious as it is now. But yeah,
And how did you wind up in the Bay Area? Because of Don?
oh yeah, that's an interesting story, which ties back into Pep Boys. And I'm not sure how the hell I even made that transition over to Pep Boys, but suffice to
Because that
say,
was Los Angeles.
right, suffice to say I did. Well, Don and Joanne came from the Bay Area, and she was a window dresser. Of course, she didn't call it that, but that's basically what it was for I
Mhm.
Magnums,
Mm-hmm.
a real upscale store, ladies' store, basically. And she had taken a transfer to work in their store in La Jolla, which is outside of San Diego.
Mm.
And Don and Joanne came on by, because I was living in LA at the time, driving that no, I was living in LA working for Pep Boys.
You were living with our Aunt Helen for a while, weren't you?
No,
No?
no. No, I wasn't.
Mm.
But anyway, where the hell was I?
Joanna Dunn, come to the Bay
Oh
Area.
yeah, they stopped by and they said, "Well, we're on our way to La Jolla," and Don said, "I'm going to get a job in San Diego," and he said, "Why don't you come with us?" So I went, just like that. And for about 2 weeks, we probably put in probably a hard 4 or 5 hours looking for work. And realized we weren't going to find any work. Because, it was tough enough, but we had a lousy attitude anyway.
Yeah, I bet you were trying real hard.
No, we weren't. And so it ended up that by now we were all joined. And of course, I was kind of like a third wheel, But we went up to the Bay Area, and we were together for a while longer until I could get myself stabilized. And Don had a friend, and I stayed with him for a few weeks. And then I stayed with them for a few weeks, and then I don't know, somehow I managed to make enough money to get a boarding house slot. And I was selling insurance door to door, health insurance.
Health insurance.
Oh God, what a tough job. You sell it to people that can't afford it
Mm.
and too dumb to know it. Honest to God, it was just pathetic. I had to swallow all semblances of humanity and
Ethics.
ethics and everything else
Mm.
to sell to these people. you know, it was a product or a service, and it was legitimate. But my God, you know, the last thing they needed was insurance. Hell, they needed,
Groceries,
yeah, groceries. And,
gas money.
yeah, geez. So, anyway, somehow I found out that there was a job opening. Oh, I know what happened. I finally said, I gotta get the hell out from underneath this.
It's
Selling
soul
insurance.
destructive. Your soul destruction.
Yes. And I finally broke down. I had it in my mind that going through an employment agency was like going through a dating service to get a date.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I didn't want to do that. Why would you have to do that? Well, I finally broke down and did it. Smartest thing I ever did. Honest to God. They said there was a job in San Leandro at General Electric. I went there. I did well on the interview, and I got the job.
I wonder if we want to get Sharon in here, because this is the point when Sharon comes in
Yeah. that would
to the
be good.
story.
Mhm.
Sure, why don't you?
Yeah. Let's,
Well, just to wrap up though, where does this fit in with your going back to BYU? Is this after or in between or?
No, by then I was done with BYU.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Anything more to say to wrap that up? Like the third year, did you?
oh, the third year, it was just a cleanup year, and
Mm-hmm.
I got really good grades. I got off academic
probation.
probation because I think I got all A's and B's,
Mm-hmm.
mostly A's, because I was serious. Hell, I had to be. You know, I had no choice.
Did you
And,
graduate then in 3 years? Or?
No. I was on a 5-year program.
Oh,
Because at BYU you have to take religious instruction. So we had to take 134 semester credits. And normally 124 is what's required to get a bachelor's degree.
mm.
Or maybe it was more than that, I don't know. Anyway, it's a 5-year program because of the religion thing. And so I had to go 2.5 more years.
Mm.
And so that's what I did.
Okay, so now
Let's see.
enter Sharon.
Well, let's see if she's willing. We
Yeah.
can
Yeah,
just,
hold
talk
hold
about
up, Jack, I'll go get her.
Okay,
her.
we'll pause here for a moment.